This is the one with a ton of foreshadowing.
A very common courtesy unit.
Spoilers.
The piranhas of the air.
And Professor River Song, archaeologist.
It's called Silence in the Library.
Here we go.
We're still on our endless voyage, all through time and all through space.
With Levine and Angels now, Daleks, Cybers, and dude, wow!
Tennant, Smith and Eccleston, Gallifrey, where it all began.
Doctor Who is cool again, that was Russell's master plan.
Who back when? Reviewing all new Who there is. Who back when?
Subscribe and rate on iTunes, please.
Rose and Donna, Amy Pond, Rory, Martha and beyond. Join us on this odyssey, what other choice could there be than Who back when? Who back when?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another long-awaited, highly anticipated episode of Who Back When, a Doctor Who podcast.
Or Doc Past?
You must. This is episode N050!
That's right! This is a moment. I mean, take a moment. This is a... Oh,
don't auto-truncate this moment.
no.
Just bask in
I'm
it.
getting really verklempt over here. This is amazing. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you. Carry on.
This is a milestone, and the episode we are reviewing today is Silence in the Library.
Appropriately so. Because it's a great episode. It's a fantastic episode to, demarcate this half, quote-unquote, century.
It is worthy. It is worthy, and that's why we've got three fantastic hosts tonight. I am Drew Back When. To my front is...
Hello there, I'm Pumpkin. To his front.
Yes, and to my right...
Hi, I'm Marie.
Hello, Marie.
Hi.
So I don't think it's giving away any spoilers to say that we all bloody loved this episode.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And it is part one of a two-parter, and was this clarified before we pressed record? You guys did not watch the second part this time around?
No, I restrained myself. I desperately wanted to, but I paused so that I could just review this episode purely.
You're a better human being than I am. Well done.
Yeah, I'm as good a human being as you are, and better than you.
Yeah, debatable. Alas, I watched both of them back to back. I had to. I couldn't contain myself. It was amazing.
We'll just indulge us in our ignorance.
I will.
Okay, great.
No spoilers.
Shall we jump into a B-scowl?
Let's do that. Time for us to synopsize,
Slurpify and summarize,
so take a view
and grab a brew,
and listen to this overview, this free-for-all.
we like to call a bite-sized chunk of Who.
Bite-sized chunk of Who. The Doctor and Donna are summoned via psychic paper to the library, a planet-wide library in the distant future full of actual bound, printed-on-paper books, but oddly devoid of people.
Meanwhile, a mysterious young girl in present-day England with inexplicable visions of the library and the Doctor and Donna is being interviewed by the equally enigmatic Dr. Moon.
Cut back to the library, where an old friend of the Doctor's, whom he hasn't met yet, Professor River Song, is leading an expedition into the heart of the library for the Felman Lux Corporation, and where an alien force appears to have taken over.
B-Scout over, you are welcome!
Aren't you just?
For no reason whatsoever. That was great.
It's special. It's a special occasion.
Okay, can I start us off with a question?
If you must.
So this takes place after the, whatever it was called, the Singing Spires of whatever. For her, from her point of view, right? She's just been with Capaldi.
Oh, we're getting wibbly-wobbly right from the beginning.
Yeah. She's just spent a 24-year-long night with Capaldi, right?
How do we know that?
Isn't that the thing?
Is this the last time she sees him then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah. Isn't this the whole thing of she... sorry, spoilers from the start.
That's the second episode, I guess. But
it's also her law.
But isn't the point that the Singing Spires is their last night together? So it wouldn't be their last night together if she knew she was going to see him tomorrow.
But the first time that she meets him must be the last time... Sorry, the first time that he sees her is the last time that she sees him. Logically, right? Because their timelines are reversed, right?
I've always struggled with this. I don't know if they are exactly reversed or if it just... They meet out of order, and if they were exactly reversed, then she would know exactly where they were in the book, but she keeps having to flick through and say, have we done this yet? Have we done this yet? And
yeah, I think she did.
That's interesting.
I don't think it's reversed. I just think
it's not
out of
perfectly
order.
reversed.
Yeah.
No, because isn't the first time she meets him is in Let's Kill Hitler?
Yeah.
So that's right in the
middle
of his timeline. So they may run in parallel for a certain length of time. Maybe this is the last time she sees him, though. That's sort of the grand conceit, isn't it?
I feel like that's exactly what this is. But in my mind, it was, reversed, completely polarized, polar opposites timelines.
I think they actually say that somewhere, that they're kind of living in reverse, but I don't think it
actually is valid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you keep it fuzzy, then you can do more things with it.
Exactly.
Gotcha. So, the way it was in my mind, she spends 24 years with Capaldi in the Bone Zone whilst two mountains are singing.
Yep.
Annoying, by the way. And then... And then she leaves him, as in she leaves after that one night, and goes to see him for the last time ever. Because that's, at the very least, that's the validity that I've added to the 24-year-long night with Capaldi. Because wasn't that it? It's like, oh, this is the last night that we have. Oh, but this night is 24 years long.
Yeah.
So that's great. So after this, it ends. And it was like, you're going to die after this night. Wasn't that the whole thing?
Because she dies in the light. But that's a spoiler.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, we're going to have to get into the spoiler.
You're reviewing episode 2.
Fuck, I'm not. No, this is about part 1.
Yeah.
Because she has clearly spent a ton of time with the Fellman Lux Corporation before she goes to the library now.
Yeah.
So she can't have gone straight from the 24-year-long night. That is not her last night of life.
No.
She has clearly gone somewhere to, like, work her way up within the Fellman Lux Corporation.
She offers her services as a freelance archaeologist.
Unless she went from the 24-year-long night to, like, a 12-year-long day during which she worked in the Fellman Lux Corporation, this does not add up for me. Explain.
Maybe she's been putting in the hard weeks and then she thinks, well, I got to have this night, and then she nips off and has it, nips back again.
Exactly, she's a time traveller.
Yeah, but
I see.
If she has just come from the 24 years in any way, then there's none of this flipping through the book shit. Have we done this? Have we picnicked on Asgard? She knows exactly what's happening and what's coming, right?
Anyway,
so what you're saying is the most complex sort of temporal wibbly-wobbliness that any showrunner of Doctor Who ever undertook was ever so slightly fucked up over many series. They stretched it over many series and they got a bit greedy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's not necessarily a plot hole here, but in my mind there is a plot hole in that Capaldi episodes in the way that it is linked to this one.
I think that's right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's Christmas.
And also, which, by the way, also disproves my prior assumption that they are perfectly reversed. Because if her penultimate is his last...
Yeah.
Right?
But yeah, from his point of view, that's his last night with her.
Yeah.
Well, Marie just showed us a tube map that she got off the internet that was like the Circle line and the Hammersmith and City line, and they were just arcing around London, and it was madness.
Yeah. All right. That was a terrible introductory question. I apologise.
You had to get it out of the way.
I did.
Did he know that it was her last night with him?
Solid as a rock.
Oh, my God.
No, the only thing I was wondering is, does he say that it's her last night on Earth or their last night together? Because from his perspective, it is their last night together.
Oh, interesting. Maybe that is it.
Maybe that we're misremembering it.
Oh, I wouldn't put it past myself.
We should say also that this was written by Stephen Moffat.
Oh, yes, it
Let's
was.
state the obvious. This was back in RTD's reign when Moffat was just an up-and-coming young wannabe showrunner.
Yeah.
And he was outclassing everyone with his one-off stories. And so at the time, when he was announced, we'd be like, of course it should be given to this guy!
So what was the last one that he wrote?
Was it Blink?
I was going to say.
Yeah, I think so.
Really, he's not written anything in between?
He did The Girl in the Fireplace, did he?
No, that was RTD, wasn't it?
Oh.
Oh, Drew is looking at me like...
I just sort of think all the ones I like, I attribute to Moffat.
Oh, I see.
Of those kind of series, yeah.
So, as Marie said, The Girl in the Fireplace, written by Stephen Moffat.
Ka-ching.
Ciao.
So this is like his hat trick of brilliant
of awesome
episodes.
episodes. The best episode.
No wonder he got the job then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's written some good ones since, but maybe none as iconic as these three.
Yeah.
Apart from the 50th, which I love, but a lot of people hate it.
Well, we're not there yet.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers.
Speaking of spoilers, I know a lot of people that are anti-River Song. The main problem they have with her is the spoilers line. And it is, the way she delivers it, like in later episodes, is quite annoying.
When she's
Can be.
extra sensual about it.
Yeah.
Sensual.
Spoilers! I can't do it. Drew?
I feel like I'm not biologically equipped somehow.
But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that actually he says it in this episode. He doesn't say it to River, but he says it first.
Oh.
And, spoiler,
Yeah.
later on, there's an episode, I think it must be the Hitler episode, when she hasn't met him, and he says to her spoilers. And so that's the first time she's heard it, and she takes it from him. So the thing that most irritates people about River, she actually gets from the Doctor.
Oh, that's nice.
Ah.
Yeah, it's all his fault.
everything that's introduced in this episode is introduced so well, and it's so
Yeah.
embedded into the story that you just don't notice. I didn't notice it when he said spoilers the first time.
No.
And then I rewatched the beginning, and then I made the connection, because it's not like last week where it's like, oh, and now we're at the wink silent pool reference time. It's just a nice piece of dialogue, really
Yeah.
well delivered.
Yeah, really subtle.
Yeah, the writing in this one is top notch, top hurl.
Yeah. No, it is absolutely wonderful. I had forgotten most of the sort of intricacies of this. I remembered that, thingies from the next episode that we can't talk about. And I also remembered there being skeletons inside the spacesuits, whatever.
Should we talk about books, since we're in the library?
Let's talk
Sure.
about books.
Because last week we were all, oh my goodness, how can there be books in the year 11 billion? And this week the Doctor, the first thing he says is, books! And then he explains it perfectly.
I did have a little pang of guilt about that, actually.
And everything that is in the library has been specially published for the library,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, they got a print-on-demand machine.
Yeah,
Yeah, great job, guys. Never heard of anything like that.
Because I feel like there's a huge chunk of human history that we encounter throughout New Who, and probably also Classic Who, during which we don't have printed books. It's all iPads and, Kindles, that sort of thing.
In Classic Who?
I feel like that,
Wow.
yeah. Well, not necessarily iPads and Kindles, but that everything is way more technological. You ingest literature through crystals rather than, browsing printed paper.
But I guess maybe it's your average day-to-day Gallifreyan doesn't have a book, but that it's a database. The library is there as a central system, so everything that's ever been written or published is held somewhere.
Everything that has ever been written and published where?
In
'Cause
the
it's-
universe.
in the universe can be stored in one library.
A planet-sized
Planet-sized
library.
library.
Still feels like there's not enough.
The biggest data core as its centre.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we
Also-
don't have a printed copy of every single book. It's,
No, I think
it's a
we do.
hard drive, and when you want a book, it prints it for you.
No, I think everything in the hard drive is backed up physically. We don't know how big this planet is.
No.
We can't see the horizon because of the lovely CGI vistas. I mean, this planet could be 1,000,000 kilometers in diameter.
Yes.
And there are skyscrapers full of books.
There are. Still, somehow, in the great infinity of the universe, still feels like there's not enough space somehow. I don't know why I'm saying
Maybe
that.
they have
There are
TARDIS.
millions of planets and millions of life forms in the Whoniverse.
Maybe
but-
they have TARDIS technology.
Sherlock. Nice.
Also, isn't the volume of a sphere 4 pi r cubed? Am I getting that right?
I think that's right.
strong math,
Wait,
yeah.
hang on.
That is a
Is
big...
that the... Yes!
Yeah, that is a big number when your planet is 1,000,000 kilometers in diameter.
Sure.
So, math locked.
Okay, fine.
I love that you're trying to pick plot holes in this.
I really am.
Like, could
Okay.
I just get to saying how awesome it is?
It is awesome. It's absolutely
It's so
wonderful.
awesome.
But what is awesome is that at the same time as he says books, retro, he also brings in all the other technological stuff that you don't get to see, and he puts it off screen. He references fiction mist.
Oh, I missed fiction.
I missed that as well.
Yeah,
What
like
was that?
he's reeling off things. You got books, you got this, and you got that, and you got fiction mist. And it's like
What?
Yeah, like this episode is just brimming with hard sci-fi concepts. Like
I want
too
some
many for you to
fiction.
take
I totally
in
missed that.
on
I
one
wa-
viewing. It's great. I'm spoiling my review here, but this is what Doctor Who should be like. It should be every
agree.
minute. It's like so much imagination, creativity on screen, more than you can handle, more than you can predict. I couldn't predict a single moment of this episode.
Yeah.
And compare that to some of that dross. Like every 20 minutes, it has
I-
to do this, and then it's going to do that.
Yeah.
I could predict when they said nobody saved and let's expand.
Oh.
There are 2 life
Yeah.
forms. Let's expand the parameters. Oh no, there's a million. What are they called? Not life forms.
Ooh, yes.
Something.
Lives.
Oh, what could
Lives?
that possibly be? Stupid Donna asked. Obviously, they're books. Come on.
It's not books, though, is it?
Well,
it
it's
can't
a-
be the books.
That's
I
a
mean,
spoiler for next
they're
week.
not alive. It's not the books.
It can't be
couldn't
the books. Couldn't possibly
I
be the
really
books.
liked that scene.
No!
I thought the interplay between the two, that was really... Yeah, I'm going to say it, fun.
Fun.
Oh, no.
Oh my god. The F word. Yeah. But
Just me then.
she didn't irritate me as much this week. The one that irritated me more than anything was her interaction with River Song. And River's trying to explain how she knows the Doctor. And Donna gets all, look, do you know him or do you not? Do it.
Yeah, she gets shirty.
Yeah. She
Is this
gets
the one where
real
she says, "Are you
shirty.
just talking rubbish?"
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the soundbite that I've noted, and ahead of which I've written Catherine Tate reveals her lack of acting talent. 33
Again.
minutes in.
He looks right through me and it shouldn't kill me, but it does. What are you talking about? Are you just talking rubbish? Do you know him or don't you?
Donna! Quiet. I'm working.
Sorry.
You're a time traveller. You know how it works.
Yes, exactly.
She
Apply
doesn't.
some logic to this. Come on.
Now, I agree with you both that this line, I couldn't sustain my love for Donna while she delivered that line. I agree with you. You can have that. But at the same time, River was sort of talking in riddles. River is explaining as best she can, but at the same time, there's no way Donna can understand.
But River is also being unnecessarily nebulous about. I mean, she could just say, here are some things that I can tell you, the rest I'm afraid for, wibbly-wobbly reasons I cannot share with you. She doesn't have to give everything in the form of a riddle.
But what could she tell him?
I am a fellow time traveller. Because I can't spoil the future for you, there are certain things that you're going to have to find out on your own.
I wonder whether they decided that she was going to be a time traveller at this point, because we don't know anything about her backstory now.
But they must already have decided it, right? Because she's already met him and he's not met her. Oh, no, not necessarily. Actually, you're right.
Yeah, because his future could be her past.
Exactly, he could just be moving around in her life.
He could have been jumping around.
Oh, you're right.
But she's on a fit time travel,
But don't they somehow allude to her being a time traveller in this one?
I can't remember if they do it. I don't know. I didn't know it's in this episode.
Yeah, it's very hard to keep track.
Okay, how about this then? She has Captain Jack's cut and paste gun.
Oh, do you mean the squareness gun?
Is that what it's called?
That's what the doctor says. Oh, a squareness gun!
Oh, that's terrible. That is absolutely dreadful. But isn't that Captain Jack's cut and paste gun? Because he uses that on, what's it called? Are you my mummy? Are you my mummy?
Doctor Dances?
Yes.
Yeah, that double feature.
Yeah.
He has that gun where he points it at a wall, for example. It cuts a square out of a wall, just like her gun does here, and then he can paste it back in when they've climbed through the hole. She never uses it to paste, but it looks exactly like his cut and paste gun, which is a future tool from time agents, or for time agents. Isn't that already a hint that she's a time traveler?
But again, if the Doctor was nipping in and out of her timeline, he could have given her that at any point.
Just like he gave her the
The screwdriver, yeah.
Yeah, which he, having lived through this episode, he will know to give her the squareness gun.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's going to need
But
that.
then again, this, you know what that is? This is exactly what we encountered the last time. This is Bill and Ted logic. This is because I know that I will have done that, I now will do it.
Yeah. If it's good enough for Bill and Ted, it's good enough for me.
I'm not. I really don't know why I'm criticizing this. I love this episode completely.
Yeah, it's only when we can abstract ourselves from the episode and sort of nitpick and pick little holes in it. But during the episode, no room for that at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, true. Okay, I got another question for you. Would the Vashta Narada, great name by the way, would the Vashta
It's just
Narada,
Bananarama, but Doctor Whoified.
would the Bananarama eat the faces? You know, the faces that are on pillars.
I don't think they're not actually skin
organic
faces. Yeah, it's like a copy.
In some way, a copy.
In some way, a copy. A real face, but it's
not
held in the database.
Is it not organic in any way?
I think there's an organic sort of pool from which they construct a face because
I feel like that's quite accurate. Yeah,
because the node selects the face they think Donna will respond to best, and so there must be a pile of facey melty glue. Yeah, exactly, and they turn that into Mark Chambers' face because I have no idea why.
So who's Mark Chambers?
I can tell you who Mark Chambers is.
I'm glad that you can.
Trivia! Mark Chambers was a singer, and he sang uncredited on Planet of the Ood, and he also sings, and he is credited in The End of Time. So he was a real guy involved with Doctor Who at this point.
Oh, right.
And so they name-checked him.
Does he do the Ood song?
I suppose he must have. I think he was a countertenor or something.
Oh, wow.
Is what the trivia said. I don't know what that means, but there you go.
Okay.
Triviated.
Good knowledge.
Yeah, nice.
But that's not him, I should hasten to add. That is not his face. That is some other dude.
Oh.
Just using Mark Chambers' name. So don't expect that guy's face to come back again.
So what's just happened? They've just used his name as an homage to like a little nod to their buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's all it is.
It's like they would encounter a character called Mr. Moffat or something.
Yeah.
Except that character would not be played by Stephen Moffat.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Rad. Okay.
Pointless trivia there.
However you
like
get your
it. I love
kicks. I don't know.
What did you think of the whole Dr. Moon B-plot?
I was surprised when the episode opened just on his voice, and then it turned out not to be Peter Serafinovich.
Oh, really? Why? Do you think they have similar voices?
Yeah, he's just got an imposing low voice, and it's always him.
Wasn't he? I've forgotten his name now.
It's Colin Salmon.
Salmon.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Wasn't he? I think at least last time around when Capaldi got the role, I think Colin Salmon was one of the potentials.
That would have been interesting.
I think so.
So Dr. Moon could have come back.
I think Dr. Moon could have been the Doctor.
Wow.
As in not Dr. Moon, but Salmon.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's weird he's not in the running this time.
Yeah, I don't think he was on any of the lists that I saw.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he retired, opened a pub.
Yeah. But no, I really loved the intro. So from the little girl's perspective, and she's in the library, and somebody's in the library, and then we see the Doctor and Donna crash through the doors.
That's amazing.
And then to flip it back and see the whole thing from their side as well. I thought that was so clever. And as soon as they come through the doors and he grabs a book, you're right there with them.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a nice little moment.
Yeah. The thing I like best about that moment was, what, it doesn't do wood! Come on, when you have to deliver a line like that, nobody better than Catherine Tate. The contempt. Oh, your Sonic does everything and not a door? Oh, man.
I just wish she could act, you know. No. Yeah, badly. I wish she could act well. Sorry, I wasn't specific enough. I loved the Dr. Moon, and I've forgotten her name, B-plot completely. In fact, I loved all of the little thingies in that universe. Everything that happens on that side, so to speak, is amazing.
They reused some of the Ren and Stimpy light audio.
Well, when she's watching TV or something.
Yeah, and it's like, I will go to the gold and I will get the thing from the river and it'll become a great big nugget. And they just do that over and over fucking again.
I feel like I kind of missed that, but there is a point where I've written fade out to screaming cartoon is fantastic, like something out of Rick and Morty. This is quite apt, I think. I thought that was great, but then there's one scene, which flummoxed me a little bit. And I guess actually it shouldn't, but it's when she unsheathes the secret part of her TV remote. Yeah. And it's like, well, those are just like teletext and VCR buttons. And she presses some button, and all of a sudden, books are catapulted from the walls onto them.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's pressing different buttons, and the same thing happens, doesn't it? Just
yeah.
Like she presses record, get some books.
Like, it's like everyone has a button on their remote at home that they don't know what it does, right? Like, and now you know. Like, this is what it does.
That's how they listen in.
But what didn't really make sense to me, or where I felt like, oh, I get that this is just a manifestation of her acting out, in a way. Like, oh, she presses a button because that's how she pictures it, whatever. It's like Neo in The Matrix, whatever, needs to give it a form or something.
Yeah.
But why would there be... It still presupposes that there's a mechanism in the bookshelf that catapults books out, right?
I mean...
Because it's not telekinesis or something.
Well, isn't it? Because, I mean, okay, I haven't seen part 2, but I am assuming that in some way this girl is Little Miss Library, and that she could, if she only sort of knew how to control it, do pretty much anything she wanted.
Yeah, because she can... when Mr. Moon asks her how she moves around the library, she thinks it and then it happens. So she is kind of everywhere at once. And
yeah, but I mean, we do get to see the orb, the non-Toclophane, right? Which is just like the drone with the camera. That's what's filming them. Right.
But I think she's more like, it looks just like a security camera, but she's more than that. I think she's supposedly the help desk for the entire planet-size librry.
Yeah, Little Miss Daisy.
It'd take her a year to get round to the other side with your 4πr² million-kilometer. Like,
yes,
she has to be able to like do multiple things in multiple places and probably control things with her mind.
But telekinesis.
Yeah, why not?
Really? Well, yeah, all right, then, if you want to. I feel like that's where it loses me a little bit.
Yeah, and now you say it, that was a bit of a lame effect, and it did go on for quite a while, because nobody's in any danger. It's just sort of a mild distraction. The music is going plunk, plink, plink,
well,
plunk, plunk,
she's throwing
really
a tantrum, basically.
Yeah, I don't...
Oh, so that'd be like her throwing the books across the room.
Yeah, but I don't understand how the books physically can be thrown across the room.
I think it's just her way of trying to engage with the library.
Sorry to be really nitpicky, by the way.
So she's like, I think somewhere she must know that this world isn't real, and trying to connect and trying to get back to the library, and that's the only thing she can do. She doesn't really understand.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to say too much because I've seen part 2.
Yeah.
I think it's a good sign that we are having to nitpick at these minutiae.
Yeah.
Because that's what our podcast is all about.
Excellent pronunciation, by the way.
And, thanks. And if we have to go into this level of detail to find anything wrong with it, then it must be a pretty good episode.
This is a fantastic episode. As you said, minutiae.
Yes.
And as we do occasionally bring up various Latin words just to drop some Latin...
Well, of course, they're a sine qua non.
In this story, in which you can only find safety in the light, where you must stay out of the shadows, the name of the family that owns and at one point created this library planet is Lux, which means light.
Of course it does. Yeah. Thanks for enlightening me.
Yeah.
You think it can't...
That's my major beef. That's not my major beef. That's my only beef. Yeah, that's not even beef. It's like my lean piece of vegetarian-friendly bacon.
Why is it? Why do you have beef with it?
Because isn't it ridiculous? Why do you have to give someone this name? We get it. Light and dark. Don't name the... Oh.
It's a luxury.
That's terrible.
It's just a little nod for those who do know it. It's a little...
I have a love-hate relationship with that kind of naming convention in Doctor Who, because we have encountered that on numerous occasions on Who Back When.
Yeah.
Like, they go to the... I'm trying to remember some of them. Well, they go to the sea planet of Marinus, or they go to the, I can't remember.
Oh, but everyone was doing it back then, wasn't it? With the Romulans and all that business. In the 60s, no one had any frame of reference.
Yeah,
beyond.
and I have a love-hate relationship with this naming convention in Star Trek as well, and when it comes to the Romulans, I have a hate relationship with it, because what are the odds that you're going to encounter two planets somewhere in a distant galaxy called Romulus and Remus, and they have senates and shit? Screw them. Anyway, this isn't a Star Trek podcast. Anyway,
we should talk about Mr. Fellman Lux's, well, it's Mr. Strackman Lux's band of misfits.
Oh.
Ooh.
Well, we have Miss Evangelista, who looked very familiar to me. The actress looked very familiar to me. I looked her up.
Yeah?
I can't remember what I saw her in. Actually, forget. Like, I literally had it on the top of my brain. It's like, yeah, she's in that thing, but I can't remember what
Do
it
you
was.
want to look her up right now?
No, fuck it. Forget it.
Well, one of them, Steve Pemberton.
Who's that?
He is Strackman Lux.
Oh,
he
okay.
is from The League of Gentlemen, co-starring
Which
with
I've never
Mr.
seen.
Mark
Yes.
Yes.
I've never seen League of
Totally
Gentlemen.
watch it.
Really?
Oh my god, best thing ever.
Is there tons of it?
No, very short.
Oh.
British TV, not American. Yeah.
Quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So the boys' club is hard
Back.
at work.
Yeah. Okay. Who else is in this group?
You've got Proper Dave,
Oh,
who
yes.
is just Mr. Rent-a-Face. Anyone got a cameo going? You can rent Proper Dave.
I love that they have that whole tiny little backstory for an ancillary character's name.
Yeah.
That's amazing, because he has no part in this entire storyline, but they still have to justify it. It's great. You can totally imagine them having had that conversation off screen before we even press play.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a better variation than I'm Dave and he's Dave as well, or I'm Dave and he's Barry, and now I suppose we have to have ancillary characteristics. Oh man, these are going to be lame.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, the only person who shows Miss Evangelista any compassion, Donna Noble.
Uh-oh.
The heart of the show.
They were awful to Miss Evangelista.
Yeah, they were mean.
They really were.
But it kind of bugged me that they played on the pretty but dumb thing to the point where she said, oh yeah, everyone thinks I'm pretty but dumb, and then said something really dumb to prove it.
Yeah.
Like, well, how did you get the job? Is it like, she's not like a model or anything. She has to do some work.
She must... Well, I mean,
She?
she's boning the
To
captain,
get the
isn't
forms.
she? Isn't that what she's doing?
She does say she's his everything.
Oh.
Yikes.
Ugh. Yeah, no, I think he's just a massive douchebag, and he wants a quote-unquote pretty face around to do his bidding, because whatever, tiny penis. He probably drives a Porsche. But...
Space Porsche, but yeah.
Space Porsche, obviously. I looked her up, by the way, if I did. She was in St. Trinian's as well, with Agatha. She was in Inception as...
What?
Blonde. She was also in Thor: The Dark World as Nurse.
Hey, that's better than Nurse number
Good
2.
range.
She was in The Liability as the girl.
Oh no! Oh, come on! She
Miss
must have done
Evangelista.
something.
Sorry, I'm cherry picking the really
Maybe
bad
she
ones. She
is
has been in good stuff as
pretty
well.
but dumb.
She was also in Agatha Christie's Poirot in Five Little Pigs. That's a good one. She was in Pride and Prejudice.
So hang on, were they just filming Poirot next studio over, and one day they were like, we need some more extras?
I guess they were, but there are 5 years between them.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
But
We'll
yeah.
come back.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. When you're taller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's currently in Westworld.
Oh,
and I
right.
think that's where I recognised her from, but
I
she's
see. As an
Angela.
orifice.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, come on. She plays Angela in Westworld, in case anyone in podcast land knows who that is. But yeah.
Angela the orifice bot.
Oh, for God's sake. All right, carry on.
This is not a Westworld podcast. Right, so yeah, lots of nice lines in this one. Dying gives us sighs. That's a very Moffat-y type of line.
Oh,
A
nice.
nice philosophical little drop there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I liked
yeah.
I never land on Sundays.
Oh.
Nothing good ever happens on a Sunday. Or
Who back when drops on a Sunday?
well,
We'll have you know. Also church.
As we're pulling quotes, 35 minutes in, we have...
I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
That's not the first one.
Oh, wait, there's more than one in this
He
episode?
sneaks one in
Oh, I missed this!
when he's talking to the wooden Toclophane. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." He changes the inflection.
Ooh.
And I only got this on the second viewing as well. So it's
Yeah.
like they're not even just sneaking them in anymore. They're dropping an obvious one and sneaking one in as well.
Oh, that is double sneaky.
Yeah. It's like, here's the one you've seen. Yeah. I'm so sorry. So yeah, 2. Soundbite them both.
Crap, I have to find the other one. Okay, yes. Sure, we'll do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I really am. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Wow, they were great. Can anyone whisper louder than Catherine Tate?
when was she whispering?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe everyone is just really quiet.
Was she trying to whisper that?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought that was part of the fun. Like Silence in the Library, Donna Noble. They won't go together.
She did a relatively good job when What's-Her-Face dies.
Oh, I thought that was a good scene.
That
Yeah.
was a great
I
scene.
thought actually that's a real contrast to the "I'm so sorry" that we get every time.
Yeah.
It's that was a really touching.
An actual human moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't like she's already gone, and everybody knows intelligently that that's just an echo. It's not a life.
Can we talk about this whole echo business?
Okay.
Yes.
Explain it. So this is just... When she thinks through a microphone, and one thought has got stuck in the microphone, except she's dead behind it.
It's not one thought. It's you can send telepathic links between the two of you. So if you're on the other side of the planet, you don't have to say it out loud. You can speak
You
telepathically.
can think to someone.
So it's linked to your brainwave, so that to enable that, and then
Oh.
yeah,
So this is not linked to the microphone at all?
it's coming through the microwave. But I think they said about a telepathic link, didn't they?
Yeah.
And so it's like it is an echo of her like
Consciousness.
Consciousness, yeah. So she's asking, "Why is it dark? Who's there?" And like the kind of dying thoughts. Her last thought was that she didn't want people to think she was stupid.
Yeah.
So she was asking Donna, "Please don't tell anyone," and that's what it settled on.
So does she...
Yeah, and it manages to be both a joke at her expense and incredibly poignant at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really something.
Yeah,
it's
I
incredibly
thought that was
well done, yeah.
A really nice piece of writing.
So is there consciousness in that line?
I don't think there can be.
Well, I think it's like there's a Black Mirror, isn't there, where a guy dies and they harvest his social media and everything
Yeah.
he's ever written and
yeah.
they put it into an android. And I sort of get the feeling it's a bit like that.
So it's a facsimile of her.
Yeah, it takes
It's like a 64-bit facsimile of her.
yeah, it takes all her input that she's ever put through this program and constructs plausible responses to the environment
Really?
based on it. That's what
no,
I don't think
I
so.
don't think that. No.
No.
Well, it ends on ice cream.
Well, I mean, obviously it degrades without connection to her brainwave source.
Yeah.
It's, what it felt for me like was like seeing dementia.
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
That's exactly
like
what I
10
thought
years
as well.
of a slide
Yeah.
into dementia over a minute.
Yeah.
And that just made it even more
Yeah.
poignant.
But what I was wondering was, one of the other crew members said, like, oh, well, I listened to my aunt or my grandmother or something talk about, ask me if I was in the room or whatever it was for like a day. But that's just a speaker. She's not in there.
No,
it's not an actual
like,
replica of her. There's no
echo.
exactly. There's no consciousness. It's just
Yeah.
the voice.
Yeah.
So really, what it's doing, the whole thing is just dragging out the sorrow period for the grief for everyone who's listening.
Because I think that's it. It's, logically, you should just turn it off. You should just say it's a
Exactly,
microphone.
but it's like, oh, when I do that, I will never hear her voice
exactly
again.
when it's your
so I have to do this
because
otherwise I will never hear this.
Yeah.
But it's not the.
It's an unintended side effect of the Thought Mail program, though, isn't it? It's not meant to give people this extended sorrow period if they want it. It's just a
quirk.
Yeah.
So it doesn't happen every time. Because the other guy, it was very, very quick. His only lasted a few seconds before he came back.
Yeah, well, maybe there's something in that, because, they're picking on her as the stupid one, and maybe stupid people's, this is a huge generalisation and leap, but maybe their patterns degrade quicker, but his degraded just as quickly.
Yeah.
So, they're no better than her.
Yeah.
Oh, the tragedy.
His degraded very, very quickly, because when he said, "Who turns out the lights?" he's still alive, he's still in there.
And then there's only that one line
and then he has
there.
one line, and then the light goes out.
Oh, but no, but
because then
I can't tell you this.
Because the next time he says it, it's the Vashta-Narada.
Yeah, and then his skeleton flops forward.
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
Oh, but isn't that a good scene?
I don't care. I love it.
Ooh.
I don't care. I love it. I love it. Even though it's really, really naff at times.
I love it. I love it too.
It's gonna,
There's just good moment after good moment.
It really, really is. And every other note I have is from part 2, and I can't mention a single one of them.
Okay, I have a question about...
Come back next week for a better episode.
I have one more note. Oh, sorry, but go for it.
Okay, so the Vashta-Narada are terrifying. They're in the dark.
Yeah.
You can't, they can move.
They're basically the most terrifying. They're portrayed as the most terrifying and most unstoppable
and
foe
they can
he's ever
jump
met.
between shadows, and in the library is incredibly dark. You can't help but cross-show shadows. They're constantly in dark.
Yeah.
Why do they feel the need to get the body? They're now walking really slowly at you, shouting,
they don't need it.
Shouting in advance so you know when they're coming.
Yeah.
Walking like a zombie. They could be in the shadow and eating you already.
Yeah.
That was the thing that didn't really ring true.
Well, it's a bit strange because they don't move if you're looking, do they? In a weird way,
I don't think so.
Well, no, because there's a shadow cast by the wooden Toodle-Pip, and they notice it. And it wasn't there, and now it's there. And then they start talking about something else, and then they look back again, and it's gone again. So they like to operate outside of people's perception. But then, I don't know, maybe it's just they're emboldened by having this body, and they're like, well, we can spread out from this in a more naturally shadowy way. I don't think really
so. I think it's just drama.
Yeah, I think it's a more visual
Yeah.
thing for the viewer.
Exactly.
It's not really...
I mean, we can retcon it as saying, oh, well, they want to make an entrance, or this provides them with, I don't know. Finally, they have some heat and insulation inside the suit that they don't get in the vastness of the library, but in fact, it's just so that we get to finally see it, because otherwise we never see the foe. Yeah. But isn't it scarier never to see the foe?
I think so.
I think it's way scarier.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think that, it just feels a little cheesy when they're now running away from a zombie.
Exactly.
It's coming quite slowly.
But they're not just running away from the zombie, they're running away from the shadows cast by the zombie. But so there is something extra there.
The scarier bit is the shadows.
Yeah, but there are so many shadows. Yeah. Anyway, you've made this point perfectly already. I agree with you, 100%.
Also, this is picking up on Moffat's, let's take something really commonplace and everyday and terrify people with that concept from now on.
I love that.
So we start with gargoyles and now we've got shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to...
things under the bed.
Things under the bed.
Oh, nice.
And holding your breath at one point. Amy has to hold her breath, doesn't she? Along the same lines.
That rings a bell.
Ooh.
They're
underground and everyone's dead and she has to pretend to be dead. It's not Amy, it's Clara.
Is it?
It's Clara. Lovely
By
Clara.
By holding her breath?
Yeah, with Capaldi, isn't it?
She has to hold her breath.
It's one of the first ones with Capaldi.
I don't remember this at all.
Oh, it's a cracking episode. She does a really good
Don't
hold.
breathe.
Yeah.
That's the name of the episode. Oh, I should.
That'll do.
Yeah. So it's like, now I'm going to be scared of breathing. Which I suppose is as far as you can take it. I suppose his next episode will just be the horror of the existential void. Oh, I have a criticism.
Go for it.
Arg, slag, snick. Did I steal your one remaining note?
No, well, I had written that in my notes, but I thought that this was just an iPhone autocorrect mistake, because I've written ugh, slick, tick, or titch.
Arg, slag, snick. It's the first courtesy unit, and she's delivering the message.
Yeah.
The last message in the library.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I've written statue, ugh, slick, tick.
Yeah. It's like in Lord of the Rings, where they turn up in the Mines of Moria at the Tomb of Baal, and Gandalf says, "They are comet drums in the deep," and he goes on like that, and it's brilliant for ages.
Yeah.
And in this one, it's just arg, slag, neck.
Oh no, but I liked that. This is when, so it says this message has been edited to take out swear words and to change the tone.
Yeah, but it's
And
also
then she
just like
says-
it's reading out probably the person screaming and
Yeah.
panting and whatever. I completely forgot what this bloody note, man. But it's so silly. It's super.
Oh no, I love it. I loved it. Yeah, because so the line when she goes, "Run, for God's sake, run," and just said in that real deadpan.
I quite like that.
Like, that was incredible, I thought. I thought that was so more terrifying than someone screaming "run" at you. Because you hear that more often.
Yes.
And
But did
people
they
go
have
run
to add the ugh
Oh, why not?
sound effects?
I don't think that bothered me, really.
It bothered me.
Bothered me as well.
I mean, they could have just gone arg, and then you're like, then your mind can expand on that, and it's like, bloody hell, what did that sound like originally?
Instead, it's
But-
reading out the sound effects in a comic book. It's like boom,
Yes.
bang, ugh,
Pow.
Exactly.
boot, birth, snort, all that sort of. Yeah. So yeah, mixed bag there. What else we got?
So, I have one thing, but I don't know if it's a potential spoiler. It's among my part 1 notes.
Okay.
Okay, stop if this rings no bells to you, then just tell me and I won't expand on this. 4,022 people.
Yeah, no, that was the number that was saved
Right.
originally.
Right,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so this is a part 1
Yeah.
thing. So 4,022 people were saved.
Yeah, 1,000,000
Oh.
was the original number that he read out.
Oh, right.
Of life
Okay,
form.
so this was going to be my question, basically.
Okay.
Like, were there only 4,022 people on the entire planets? Or did everyone else get eaten?
No.
I guess we don't know yet. I think the implication is that more people have been saved because it stopped counting at 1,000,000. It didn't.
Did it stop counting at a
Yeah,
million?
he said the computer can't cope with any more numbers than this, basically.
Oh, I see.
So it wasn't a very round. There just happened to be 1,000,000 people on this planet.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So what was the 4,022 then?
I don't know if I took that to be like either the first round of saves.
Oh,
Like,
interesting.
this is the first amount that they managed to save, and then it went on and kept. Maybe she did a zone at a time, or I don't know. Or whether, because I can't remember what happens in the next episode. I have seen it, but years ago. Whether it expanded and more like got souls from elsewhere, or I don't know.
I can't. I don't want. No, I'm not saying anything.
I don't know. I feel
Okay.
like there's a vague thing there, but I can't get to it.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Can we talk about River Song?
Yes.
In
Oh
unison.
my god, it's the bell. Oh my god, we're so in sync.
We've been doing this too long.
Because I think I remember the first time watching this and the whole she knows him but he doesn't know her. It's such a intriguing premise and you desperately want to know who she is. And you see it from his point of view. The book's right there. He wants to grab it and she says, "Oh, you can't look at that. They're your rules." And it's so intriguing. And then this time around, with all the foreknowledge of what actually happens and how it ends and what this means for her, to see the man that you love and look into his eyes and see nothing back he doesn't recognise in the slightest. I was so heartbroken for her. Like, I actually was welling up. I thought that was such a moving moment, but you wouldn't know it without that massive story arc. You don't get that the first time you've seen it, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a performance.
Yeah.
It is. She
So-
does a fantastic job.
She does.
Yeah. So for that scene to measure up to the relationship we have now watched unfold
Yeah,
over years, and
absolutely.
you see all of that in her face
Yeah.
in that first scene.
Yeah. It's such a good performance.
Yeah, but not only that. Yes, she does deliver those lines incredibly well and very believably, and you can absolutely feel every emotion with her. But those lines are very well written as well. I mean, I don't remember all of New Who between where we are reviewing right now and with Capaldi later on. I don't remember. There's a huge chunk that I've completely forgotten about.
Yeah.
And there's tons of her, but I can already now feel everything that must be there in the background, you know, in her past, his future, just through that wonderful dialogue. No, it's incredibly well crafted.
And the very first thing she says, "Hello, sweetie." Did you get a tingle?
Oh my god, yes. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
that
gotta,
and spoilers absolutely did
you
it for
got to
me.
tip your cap to him. I mean, it may be a bit fuzzy and wobbly and timey-wimey, but man,
It's got heart.
yeah, he really set up something good there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought I was going to dislike this, but I ended up really enjoying the fact that her diary looks like a TARDIS.
Oh yeah, why
Looks
why
like
would you
his
dislike
looks like his
that?
TARDIS.
That's lovely.
Well, now I agree with you. Now I absolutely agree with you. But I remember at some point in the past having thought, that's a bit cheesy. It's just so that they can sell more TARDIS diaries, isn't it? but it's really nice because it somehow makes her out to be this incredible admirer of his, and she wants to carry around like she's a fangirl basically, and she's got this.
She is not
She's
a
his wife.
fangirl.
I know, but she's not the entire time, right? At some point, she was no longer.
He gives her the diary. He is a fangirl.
Does he?
Yeah.
What?
He gives it to her.
Wait,
She so wears the trousers in that relationship. Come on.
Absolutely.
100%. But wait, are you saying that he crafted a diary to look like his TARDIS and
Yes.
gave it to her?
Yes.
Oh, his ego's not big enough.
Oh, he is so full of himself. That is amazing. What a narcissist.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Just structurally, I mean, it's hard because I can't go plot point by plot point through the episode, but every time something big would happen, you'd cut back to the little girl, and then Dr. Moon is there, and he's saying, you have to save them. And you're just having the stakes raised constantly on one or two or three different ways.
He only does that at the end because most of the way through, he's just basically her therapist, and he's saying, tell me about the library, and you believe it. And then he has the line, there's the real world and there's dreams, and you're expecting him to say, like, forget about this library, it's all nonsense. And then it's such a twist when he goes, this is fake. What you're in now is not real. Don't be fooled by it. That's like, I did not see that coming at all. I thought that was such a good twist.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But what I mean is,
Thanks.
what I mean is, in an average Doctor Who episode, which this is not,
Yeah.
the peril in the library, you would stay with it. And he pulls you out of it, and he says, and then I'm going to give you this next week.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Constant just beating around the face with plot in this one and structure. It's,
Are you worried for Donna?
Do you know what? Donna's scream that went right through me.
Yeah.
That was harrowing.
Yeah. And I think as well because it's been foreshadowed with well, you're from the Doctor's future, why don't you know me? Where am I in the future? And then immediately she gets put into the TARDIS and has this scream and you don't really know what's happened to her.
Yeah, and you think she's safe because she's materialising in the TARDIS, and this has never happened before.
No.
I'm so pleased. I mean, possibly sadistically, I am so happy. Yes, it's terrifying that she gets all, wibbly wobbly in the TARDIS, but who gives a shit?
Me?
She is
Me.
I don't, but I don't.
Nick would.
I'm really pleased. Also, I think this is another thing, I'm not even going to get into it, but this is another thing where I'm pretty sure that I've misremembered what happens with her. I mean, I had a vague recollection. Oh, no, I'm not going to say it. I'll say it in part 2. But for what I remembered, teaser for next review, I guess, for what I remembered, I was very pleased that this was happening in a way.
Yeah.
But also the fact that she goes, oh, why am I not in the future? She knows that there are other companions that are no longer traveling with him, like past companions.
Yeah.
Maybe she just never met Riversong later on. Maybe she just goes and stays home on Earth somewhere. Fucking selfish. Oh,
Well, also,
I hate her so much.
it's like thousands of years in the future, and she doesn't know that River's a time traveler by that point. So why Donna's long dead? Like, why would she know?
You
her?
are dust.
Yeah.
Donna, you are. Oh.
It doesn't mean something tragic is going to happen to you now. It means you might live till you're 90, but obviously the Doctor's going to outlive you because he's a Time
Or
Lord.
it might mean that you do live to be 2000, except you're just going to be traveling with the Doctor for these years.
Yeah.
And then very happily and voluntarily go your own way.
Yeah.
These are great criticisms in hindsight. Donna hasn't got the whole backwards, reversey, tube mappy, wibbly wobbly thing at all yet. She can't.
She doesn't need it.
But
She does not need it.
She is in a state of complete confusion and bewilderment with this woman who's speaking riddles at her.
No,
And
she's
so-
a massive narcissist. Because what she's saying is basically, wait, why have you not heard of me?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what she's saying. She's
Yeah.
not saying like, oh, what happens to me?
No.
She's like, you must know exactly what happens to me because I am the famous Donna Noble.
I'm sorry.
Where am I?
I have to just correct you there.
Oh, okay, go for it.
Don't worry, do it, go.
Because it's the opposite of that. She has heard of her, and she says, why do you know me, but why don't you recognise me, so you must have not met me? Because she says, oh, you must be Donna. She has heard
Okay.
of her. but she hasn't met her. That's the distinction.
I see. I guess that is a perfectly valid criticism, but I still stand by it. It's incredibly narcissistic of her to just turn the whole thing into, you must be implying that I'm not around. Why am I not the center of everyone's attention?
No, look, you are flying with this giant ego through space.
Are we still talking just about Donna, or are you...
With the Doctor, he survives into a point in the future that this third person knows about, and Donna doesn't. Of course she's going to go, well, how exactly does that work? He survives and I'm not there. I've got no other plans. What happens to me?
Human. She's human.
Yeah, exactly.
Considered that she will at some point die and he won't.
Does she not also... Yeah, does she not also already know that he is...
like hundreds of years old?
Exactly, if
she
not a millennium. Yeah.
I think she
does. But also they're in immediate peril.
He's not a millennium, by the way. He's like 900 or something.
900?
At this point.
Yeah.
I'll see. You need to get in on the classic reviews.
But it's not inconceivable that River could come along next week and Donna could be dead because there are fucking shadows stalking them and getting infected.
No, okay.
Yeah? Also...
Yeah.
I guess
survival, man.
If your life is in peril and then somebody says, hey, I don't know you, but I've met your travelling companion.
Yeah, and I know everyone in the room except you. You're going to feel a little isolated in that situation. Like you are right now. Finish him!
There was another... there was another annoying Donna moment.
No, impossible.
When she,
I think she's right.
When she...
that woman, that nice woman.
She almost slips and the Doctor goes and grabs her to get her away from the shadow and she goes, ooh, what are you touching me for?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
She does. She goes to step backwards into a shadow and he grabs her to save her and she's like, oh, hands off, mister, or something, like he's making a pass at her. And it's like, oh, come on, Donna. Have you not realised by now that when he grabs you, it's because he's saving your life. It's not because he's trying to cop a feel. No. But I loved when River's like, pretty boy, you're with me, and he is completely oblivious. And Donna's,
I think you're pretty boy.
Donna's the one who has to tell him. And she's like, what? And she actually gets away with telling him that he's pretty without gagging, which I thought was very grown up of her.
Oh, said that a bit quickly. Yeah, because she's deep and she's got 3 dimensions.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, she had to be a bit annoying in this episode to set up the glee you must have felt when the Doctor said, Donna, let me explain. Button.
Yeah, I liked that.
Oh, yes. Yeah. When he zaps her back.
Yeah. Oh, you must have loved that moment. You must have thought, you're getting exactly what you deserve.
I wish there was always a button.
Yeah, there should be a big red Donna button.
Donna button to shut her up.
Like a catapult chair button.
Like on your screen, like a teletext thing that we can just press.
A mute button.
Yeah. Oh, there is.
Oh, they should have done that with the girl. She should have pressed mute and everyone would have been... I mean, this is not good podcasting, but you know, they suddenly find that they can't communicate and they start to drawing on the psychic paper. I don't know. Well, maybe not. Maybe that's terrible, but it would have made sense in the context of this is a button and it has a recognizable effect.
This, again, that would not have worked for me. That would not have worked for me for the same reasons that the catapulted books don't work for me, because why would she physically be able... Unless you use telekinesis as your excuse, but you could use that for anything.
What about if she had a fast forward button and they start running around to the Benny Hill theme?
If she has telekinetic powers, why can't she just use them to get the Vashta Narada, out of the library?
She doesn't know that they're in there yet. She doesn't know what the problem is.
Yeah, she says others are coming, and it's not the Vashta Narada, because he sucker punches you. It's River Song and her crew.
Yes.
Yeah, which is another good thing he does.
Ah, yeah, he does.
He does.
Does great things.
I mean, it'll be a relief when we get to when he's the showrunner and we can actually criticise a single thing that he does. There must be a reason he's leaving. Oh, yeah, it was the Christmas special.
Oh.
Right. Have we got anything else, or shall we jump into super mini reviews and then...
Only to say that we are left on a fantastic cliffhanger.
Oh, yes, such a good cliffhanger.
Oh, we are. Yes, we are.
I actually remember watching this the first time round and just thinking, no, there's no way out. They can't escape. There's shadows everywhere.
Yeah, end of Doctor Who.
There's nothing. There's nowhere to go.
Next week, the next episode is like 2 minutes long. And they die at the end of it. And it's like, oh, show over.
Done.
50 years down the drain. No, I agree with you. It's fantastic.
But I
it's
can't
very,
remember
very well
how
done.
they get out of it. I'm really intrigued to see.
I hope it's not just, oh yeah, I forgot about this gun. Hey, look, there's no wall. Let's walk through it. Way!
She still has the gun, does she? We're just
I
going to walk
think
through a wall,
so.
aren't we? Yeah.
I hope not.
Maybe. I don't think so. I think there'll be something better.
Leon-
Leon's got quite
he
a
knows.
smug face right now.
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, well, we'll just have to come back and review this pretty damn quickly.
Yeah. So come back in 2 weeks, Podcast Land. Yeah.
But the only thing that detracted from that cliffhanger was they didn't have to have Donna repeat. I mean, first of all, I thought regardless of how someone donates a face and why is it appearing on the courtesy unit, it was a great piece of drama. But she didn't need to say it 100 million times. No.
I agree. Just the one time would have been enough.
Or 3.
Maybe
Rule
3.
of 3.
Yeah, 3 is nice.
But not 18.
Nice.
It's not to lose its effect.
Yeah.
But again, the tiniest picking of nits.
Yeah.
Reviews. I know it's back.
It is back.
Very quietly this time.
I didn't press the button. I thought maybe by muting line
It is
1.
the Vashta Narada. Do we need to explain to Podcast Land the weird difficulties that have beset us tonight? That we cannot explain. It's a bit freaky in the context of this episode.
Yeah, it is actually. It's very... oh my goodness, it's like an echo on the recording. Yeah, we were plagued by rogue noises in the ether and we couldn't really track them down. So we literally dismantled the... let's be euphemistic and refer to it as the studio. And then reassembled the whole thing in trying to locate it. Yeah. Delayed recording procedures by like an hour. Anyway. Right. Ratings?
And now it is time to rate this. Did we love or hate this? Bing bong, hey, la 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 la.
Ratings. Let's go first.
Okay.
You went first last time. I think it should be him.
Okay, I'll go first. Mine will be super duper quick. Because I know that yours is not going to be very quick, because yours is probably super detailed and insightful and intelligent, whereas mine is, I'm struggling to keep my eyes open and I don't know what is from part 2. Anyway, I've already said too much.
So your rating?
Okay. Right, keeping it nice and concise. Writing, amazing. Performances, great. Donna Noble was annoying, but a few times. But conceptually, the idea of the library, the assumption of what is behind the little girl and Dr. Moon, and obviously River Song, I can only give this a very high rating. I'm giving this a 4.7.
Ooh.
Nice.
4.7.
Nice.
I had to struggle. I was struggling there for a bit, but yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. Great pacing, wonderful setup, constantly gripping. At no point was I grimly certain what was going to come next. Moffat kept me off balance for 43 minutes, and even when I thought I'd figured something out, he'd throw in 2 surprises, or raise the tension, or add a clever concept. Alex Kingston is... River Song. She does excellently well. And no one delivers a snarl like Catherine Tate. No one!
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, this is for me what Doctor Who is just supposed to be like. And I loved it, and like Blink, the only thing I can do is take off 0.1s for little things I don't like. So minus 0.1 for bringing back, of all things, the squareness gun. Of all the artifacts he's amassed over 50 years, that? Really? Anyway, minus 0.1 for some of the supporting cast being less than compelling, and minus 0.1 for certain Donna moments, and minus 0.1 for slick, slarg, 4.6.
I haven't got as much of a thought-through review as you guys have, but I am reviewing it from the heart. I love this episode. I remembered it very fondly, and I was so excited to watch it again, and it absolutely lived up to expectations. And I think the fact that it does stand up to the whole story arc with River, and it's still a really powerful opening to their journey. Yeah, I absolutely adore it. I went back and looked. My review for Blink was 4.7, and this tops it in my mind. So I'm going to go 4.8, and I can't wait to see the rest of the story unfold.
Wonderful. Listener minis. We have a listener mini as well.
Oh, really? Who's it from?
Tracy from America.
Tracy says, from the get-go, this is a very suspenseful and confusing episode. It took me several watches of both parts to figure it all out. I found the looping dead man's voice a really compelling element. It is, after all, in so much of our mythology that something of us can linger on after death. They overdid the repetition by the end, of course, but it's still a very neat concept. Creepy as hell, though.
The flesh aspect, those faces on the information notes, is pretty weird as well. I don't think it would have been nearly as good without Donna's reaction. Her reactions to the weirdness help us as the audience buy into the creep factor in this episode. Great stuff. Tracy continues, Tate is nailing it in this episode. There are so many tone changes. She has to be freaked out, incensed, hands, compassionate to Miss Evangelista, cheeky, ripping up the contracts, and finally, absolute calm as the flesh aspect node.
And Tracy goes on, I wasn't going to include a reference tracker here. I mean, the entire episode is one giant reference to River Song, right? But oh my god, at 31:45, I can see a picture of a wolf and a blonde on the wall as Cal talks to Dr. Moon. Rose? She gives it a rating of, I'm fine. And you? Which I'm not entirely sure how to interpret, but I'll take that as a million thumbs up.
Yeah, most of them for Donna!
I'll include a screenshot of that at 31:45 on whobackwhen.com. Thank you so much for sending this in, Tracy. By the way, Podcast Land, this is but a fragment of what Tracy sent us. In fact, Tracy has, let's just say at the very top, she's started her email by saying, in preparation for the debut of River Song, I've watched every episode with River. And in chronological order from her point of view, and what she has included, and please go to whobackwhen.com, find this episode and read it in its entirety. She's included basically a biography of River Song, which is amazing.
Yes, labour in ignorance no longer,
it
Podcast
is
Land.
Fair warning though, it is spoiler-tastic, as though you don't already know. Anyway, you can follow Tracy on Twitter. She is at Yekatnyatnuf. That's Fountain Tracy backwards.
You guys.
We're both blushing. This was fun. Any plugs? Are you on Twitter or anything else you want to plug?
I am on Twitter. You can follow me at DrewBackWhen.
Marie?
I'm not really.
She's not on Twitter, dude.
No.
Sorry.
She's a real person.
You can high-five me online. I'll high-five you right back. I'm at Ponkin. You know how to spell that. Thank you so much for listening. Next time, oh my goodness. Wouldn't you like to know? What is it? So the next episode that we're dropping will be a classic Who review of...
The Ambassadors of Death.
That's right! After which we will continue with a new Who review, namely the conclusion of this two-parter called...
Forest of the Dead.
Oh my goodness.
So much death.
Oh, it's creepy, creepy. And at some point in the hopefully not too distant future, we will review an audiobook, and at that point it will be The Cannibalists. So stay tuned! There may be a bonus episode or two coming up as well. Thank you so much for listening. Catch you in the next one. Be rad next to each other. Rock on and chit-chat.
Bye.
See you later.
Doop, 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 doop. Kablamo! Did you enjoy the show? Then please do what the cosmos compels you to and spread the gospel of Who Back When. Tell your friends. Don't have any friends? No problemo. Tell some strangers. Like us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Who Back When. All in one word. Are you on Google+? Then find us on Google+. That's plus Who Back When. And when you do, tell us why you're on Google+. Who Back When just got its very own Twitter account, no lie, so give us a follow. You guessed it, that's at Who Back When, all in one word. Check us out on SoundCloud, vote us up on Reddit, listen to us on Stitcher, and head on over to our website, whobackwhen.com, where you can leave a comment, submit a review of your own, and peruse our visual index of aliens, monsters, and more, which increases in kablamos with every episode. And lastly, give us a rating and review on iTunes. Not only would it make us super chuffed, and it really, really would, but as thanks, we will transmigrate your iTunes nom de plume into the credit list of trailers for fake Doctor Who audiobooks produced by Who Back When. Have a poke around our bonus episodes to make more sense of that. That's it. Rock on and be rad and excellent to each other. Catch your earballs in our next classic Who review, new Who review, or, still funny, audio Who review. Ciao.
Who Back When?
Oh.